Powerful women are targets, okay? Powerful women are targeted by men, and powerful women are also targeted by women. That's why there are women that are in a certain ilk. There are women that are in a certain category, that the way that you live your life has to be specific, because that disgusting, nasty Jezebel and Leviathan spirit is out on a hunt for the woman that has power. And it can possess any nearby person to essentially take that woman down. Now, today we're going to be talking about Liz. I really, really like her. I think she's a very powerful woman. I think she also has a lot of spiritual gifts. I'm sure you guys heard about the situation, and this is not going to be a video on me bashing her. It's just something that we can all learn from as both men and women. I think that Liz is a woman that's very powerful. I think she has a lot of spiritual gifts. I think she's very intuitive. I think she can see a lot. And I think that this was just a situation where a Jezebel just snuck in to essentially see if they can break her spirit. And women who are powerful, women who are determined to be powerful, determined to rise, there are dark entities that can possess people to essentially break your spirits so you cannot continue your assignment in your divine path. Beware the baseline. Beware the baseline. What happened with Liz and, sending her love and prayers, she's wonderful. She's a strong woman. It's okay. She'll be okay. I'm not worried about Liz too much. Liz is going to use this and ascend from it. Like, she's not the typical type of woman. I think that Liz has spiritual gifts. I was watching her most recent upload, and when I was watching it and I saw her face, I'm like, oh, wow, she's a seer. I can tell because there was a short clip in the video where she was looking at him, and I'm like, she's seeing him, but she's fighting it. I can tell that she was seeing him for who he was, but on her face, I could tell she was fighting it at the same time. Like she was kind of trying to resist what her spirit was telling her. She was seeing his true form. His true Jezebelic form, she was seeing it. So Liz is not a typical woman because she's very spiritually gifted. And women like Liz are there to leave marks in the world. And women like that have to be extremely cautious about women they let in their space. And they have to be cautious about men they let in their space. Now, I'm going to say a couple of things. So notice what I said. I said, beware of the baseline. Now, you know what, ladies? I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to be holding back anymore. I'm tired of holding back because of how sensitive and emotional a lot of women are and how they don't want to hear the truth. And they try to drag me in the comment section when I do tell the truth. I'm going to stop doing that, but I'm going to have it. The only difference is I'm going to have those things behind paywalls now. I'm not going to post those on here. They're going to be behind paywalls, because if you really want to know the truth and not just be around to speak negatively about the truth, then you will go behind a paywall to hear the truth because you really want it. So I'm going to post something behind the paywall, an audio called Beware the Baseline. And what happened here with Liz is very unfortunate, but it's not surprising because the man was in his baseline. Most people are at their baseline. Men have a baseline, women have a baseline. And the only way to protect yourself from men and women is to view them at their baseline until they prove otherwise. It's just like when you work in the hospital. What do they tell you? Treat everybody like they're infected. Treat everybody like they're sick. Treat everybody like they have some type of disease. Don't take any chances because you can't see what's running through their blood. It's the same thing with people. You have to treat men and women according to the baseline of men and the baseline of women until they prove you otherwise. Treat them at the baseline. And the baseline for a lot of men is they have a humiliation kink for women. They tend to align themselves with women that they feel like are out of their league so that they can humiliate them. That's their goal the whole time. It's called a humiliation kink. That's part of the baseline of the male. Why? Because the male has a superiority complex. So when men view a woman who's very intelligent, if they are not ascended, their innate reflex is to destroy her or humble her in some way. And one of the major ways that men humble women is through getting them pregnant. That is like their ultimate, once they do that to you, they feel like they have you, they feel like you're trapped, and they feel like you can't go anywhere. That is what they will use as a means of, holding you hostage, is what I like to call it. That is the baseline of a lot of men. When women understand the baseline for a lot of men, you're going to understand that the more you rise as a woman, the smaller your pool of eligible men gets. Why? Because men have a superiority complex. So they innately believe that they're smarter than women and more, and more advanced than women, which they are in a certain aspect, because patriarchy has never taught women to protect themselves. So that's why most women don't have survival skills while men do. It's not that women are not capable. They just have been taught about, romance, and, they've been taught, about fantasy. So when it comes to Liz, this is just a situation where a man found a woman that he idolized. He found a woman that was really smart. He found a woman that was really motivated, and he decided to take advantage of that woman by blindsiding her randomly. And it's usually random. And we'll talk about this in the masterclass. If you guys are enjoying these conversations, remember I told you I saw in the video when Liz saw him. Liz didn't see him when she paused like that. She saw the demon operating in him. And what she saw was Jezebel. I'm going to have a class called Defeat Jezebel. And it's so funny when we hear the word Jezebel or Leviathan, we automatically think about women. No, Jezebel is an entity that possesses people to go after children of the light and ultimately destroy them. It's called, so the class, we're going to talk about Defeat Jezebel. And you defeat Jezebel by understanding what love bombing looks like, by understanding when somebody is trying to manipulate you, by over complimenting you, getting in your space and learning about your weaknesses. This is about defeating Jezebel. Okay, defeat Jezebel and Leviathan. Okay, June 22nd, don't miss it. We're going to talk about the spiritual aspect, which is also similar to what happened to Liz here. It's just a spirit that possessed the person to come against her. And when you look at Liz and her history, Liz has a history of people trying to break her down. She's had a lot of trauma in her life with people trying to destroy her, essentially because Liz is chosen. So she has a very bright light about her. She's very authentic. I actually think that Liz is actually a lot of the girls that came out with styles of videos like Liz is a trendsetter. Most of them probably won't admit it, but Liz set the trend for a lot of women. She is a prototype, and women like that, their whole life, it's always somebody hiding in a corner trying to destroy their spirit. It's very scary, but once they understand that it's an entity that's following them and not a person, they will understand that it's the entity that possesses that person to go against them. So that's why I'm having the class called Defeat Jezebel, because it's a spirit that can follow you, and it follows you through possessing the people that are closest to you. Meaning you can meet a man who actually likes you, who actually loves you, who's actually interested in you, but because that spirit is after you, it's going to possess him and make him turn on you. We're going to talk about that in the class. But anyways, listen, stay away from people that over idolize you. Stay away from, people who view you as out of this world, as like a unicorn, that kind of stuff, those feelings, that person is going to start to become envious. And, I really don't care. I don't care. I'm going to stop, holding back on my messages to preserve women's emotions because, I really don't care, because I feel like you will always see what I talk about in real time. Like everything that I talk about, you will see it. Oh, Mel, you're very paranoid. No, I'm not. I'm a realist. That's the difference between me and you. I see men for who they are, and I see women for who they are. And if they surprise me, great. Oh, well, you can't think every woman's the same. You can't think every man's the same. Yes, I can, until they prove me otherwise. Yeah, that's actually how you protect yourself in the world. They're all the same until they prove you otherwise. It's not, oh, this person's different until they prove me they're not. That's stupid. Everyone's the same until they prove me otherwise. And if you go through life that way, you will be protected from people with ulterior motives. What happened to Liz here, and, I like Liz. I think she's cool. I think her content is good, and I think she's authentic. I don't think she's cosplaying. I never got that vibe. I think her messages stand, and I think she's a very powerful woman. I think she has a lot of spiritual gifts. I think that she has a lot of gifts too. Listen, men and women have a baseline. What's the baseline for the character of men, and what's the baseline for the character of women? I'll tell you. The baseline for the character of women is, I think most women are jealous. I think most women have extreme jealousy and envy. I think they try to hide it. And I think that they try to cosplay like they're not that way. But once they get close to a woman that they over-admire, they will strike and they will destroy her if they're given the opportunity to. And a woman has to prove to you that she's not like that. And that'll be up to you to decide over time. But in your mind, you have to just view them as that. Men, I think that a lot of men have a humiliation kink when it comes to women. I really do. I think that they always have this itch to see how they can start, screwing things up and start acting crazy. I feel like they purposefully wait until a woman is pregnant to start acting out. I think it's very well calculated, and I think it's premeditated. Men have a humiliation kink, which is why when I see women posting their relationships, kissing, their happiness, all this stuff with a man, my eyebrow goes up and I'm like, well, I hope it works. I really do hope it works out, because most men have a humiliation kink. And if they don't, well, to your surprise, like, wow, God really blessed you. Like, congrats. But I do think men have a humiliation kink. That's their baseline. And you have to view people from their baseline until they prove otherwise. The problem is a lot of women are always believing, oh, well, this guy's probably different from the rest. No, you should always put in your mind, he's a man, and he's going to have the baseline that men have. And if he surprises me and shows otherwise, then props to that. Like, let's go out and pop champagne and celebrate. But I'm still going to hold him to that baseline. And I'm still going to look for signs of that baseline in action, and you will find them. So what happened with this guy, I feel like, I'm not trying to be mean. I really like Liz. I feel like this guy was just not up to par for her. I feel like she kind of dated down. I'm just going to be real. When I see Liz with a man, I don't picture him. No, I don't picture somebody with that ilk. I'm not saying anything's wrong with him, just not for her. I think she's just a little bit too powerful. I think she's a little bit too smart. I think she's a little bit too confident. I think she's a little bit too secure in herself. I think she's a little bit too wise. I don't pair those type of women with men like that mentally. I don't pair them with men like that, because men like that are the women like her. Men like him are women like her downfall. So I don't pair, those type of guys, I see them with the more homemaker, ditzy, not that aware, soft-spoken, introverted style women. She's a little bit too powerful. So I wouldn't pair her with somebody like that. She needs to be with somebody who is, very, very powerful, and secure in himself. There's a lot more I can say about him, but I want to refrain. It's just, I remember the first time I saw a video of him talking, I'm like, I don't know, something's a little bit too sweet in the lemonade, if you know what I mean. The lemonade is a little bit too sweet for me. That was odd. But I just, it's just one of those things where women just have to be careful. Like, it's a cautionary tale. I always tell women that you are not the exception to the rule. Many women like to think that they're special. You're special to you. You're special to God. But when it comes to men, you're not special at all. And the minute you put that in your mind, you're going to stop being male-centered. You're going to stop competing for the male gaze. You're going to stop doing all of that when you realize that men like all women of all colors, men like women in general. And when you understand that, you're going to stop telling yourself, oh, I'm so amazing, he would never cheat on me. Like, women like that are in a delusion. I'm not saying that men who don't cheat don't exist. I'm just saying women who have that mentality are in a delusion, because you're putting in your mind that you're extremely special. And when it comes to men, men are very different from women. And I always tell women, you can do everything right and a man will still betray you. So men don't operate like women, and you need to learn that, and you need to understand that. A lot of women, they're still living in fantasy land. That's why my daughter will not be watching any, my daughter will not be watching any type of princess movies, because that's not real life. That's not life. And I'm not going to allow those seeds to be planted in her head, because she's going to get played in life if she watches that stuff. Because a lot of women are in their older years and they still think that they are an exception to the rule when it comes to men. You are not. Men can be very ruthless. And if you're not a strong woman, your heart's going to be broken every other weekend, because men center themselves while women center men. And it's so funny, because in one of the clips, I saw Liz talking, and she was saying, like, I have my own stuff. I'm financially stable. I'm very accomplished in life. So if stuff doesn't work out with a man, it's not going to bother me. And I saw his facial expression, and he looked a little bit annoyed when she was saying that. Why? Men don't center women. Okay. Men don't center women, but men want women to center them. Men don't center women, but men want women to center them, which is why a man will resent you when he can't consume you. Men will resent you when they can't consume you. Women will resent you when they can't consume you. I always say women have to protect themselves from men and women, because both of them are a danger to you if they're not the right types. Women consume women. Women like to meet women and attach themselves to them. Women are very overwhelming with a woman that they're fond of. They want to attach themselves to you. They start, trying to, enmesh themselves with you. It's almost like they want to live in your body. They start stalking you. Women like to consume powerful women, and men want any woman, powerful or not, to be consumed by him. That's why a lot of women will never be able to fully reach any heights in life as long as you're connected to a man, because they won't let you. Many men are very old school with their mentality, and they don't like the ideal of a woman surpassing them in any area of life, career, intelligence. If you want a man to start negging you on a date, start showing how smart you are. Start talking in good vocabulary. He's going to start negging you. I think that a lot of men are just have a superiority complex. I said this in one of my other videos. Men have a superiority complex. Women have an inferiority complex. So because women have an inferiority complex, meaning women go through life always feeling like they're not good enough. And that's why women are very jealous. They're very envious. They do all these evil things to other women, because women constantly feel like they're insufficient. They feel like they're not enough. So because they feel like they're not enough, that's why they do certain things. And because men have a superiority complex and women have an inferiority complex, when a man meets a woman that he considers superior, in the case of Liz, meaning she's well established, she's wealthy, she's smart, she's motivated, she has spiritual gifts, she's spiritually aligned, that is like a breach in the system, and they feel like they have to destroy you for that. Because men have to feel superior all the time, while women have to feel inferior all the time in order for it to work. You guys have to understand these invisible rules in society. Men have a superiority complex. Women have an inferiority complex. So a lot of women, in their arrogance and the way that they like to humiliate other women and the way women like to bully other women, it's actually coming from insecurity and them feeling inferior. Women rarely ever feel superior. That's not a part of their complex. Women usually feel inferior. And a lot of the stuff that they do is because they feel like they are inadequate. The reason they act out, they feel inadequate. The reason they jump on the pretty girl, inadequate. The reason women do these disgusting things to other women is because they have an inherent feeling of I'm not good enough, and it plagues them every day. And because they feel that way, that's why they're so destructive. It's not because they feel like, oh, she's all that. No, it's not that she thinks she's all that. She has an inferiority complex. So she has to overdo and overcompensate all the time. That's the only way she's going to start to feel a little balanced. Men have a superiority complex. That's why if a man can't control a woman's mind, a woman's money, a woman's intelligence, his innate reflex, if I get her pregnant, I win. If she has to carry my seed and I can leave her while she carries my seed, or I can start cheating on her, or even worse, I can abandon her while she carries my seed, that is the only way I can humiliate her. That's why a lot of men choke when a woman keeps pushing back having babies with him. When he keeps saying, give me a baby, let's have a baby, babe, let's have a baby. And she keeps saying, not right now, not right now, not right now. That destroys his ego. Because the control that he wants, he's never going to have it unless he puts a seed in you, and he knows that. He knows that he has to put a seed in you to have that control, that ultimate control, where even if you guys divorce, you still have to deal with him. He has to be a part of your life no matter what, if he gives you a child. If you want to see a man have a stroke, keep pushing back the ideal of children. Sooner or later, he's going to start losing it because he needs to know that he's locked you down for certain. This is all psychological. The only time a man will feel superior to a powerful woman is when she's wobbling around the house with her extended belly, vomiting, probably looking unkept, tired, overwhelmed because she's sick from the pregnancy. That's the only time they will start to feel superior. Knowing I did that to you. That's really it's very psychological. I'm not saying all men are like that, but I'm just letting you know that a lot of them, that is how their brains work. And when you understand that, that's why a lot of men, after their woman has their child, they're not attracted to her anymore because they see you differently now. That's why in island culture, when a woman is pushing out her child, the man is on the other side of the bed. He's not on the side of the bed where the baby's coming out. He doesn't get to see all of that. That's not for him. That part of it is not for him. He can be on the other side next to your face holding your hand. You don't get to see this. This is divine feminine energy, power. This is creation coming into the room. You don't get to be a part of that. You can be on the other side with me, but you don't get to see the baby coming out. That's not for you. And when you get older and you get more spiritually aligned, you're going to understand why I talk that way. They cannot see that. It's too much for them. It leaves a traumatic image in their mind. They like the fact that your body can do that. It starts to twist their mind up in like a pretzel. So you're not supposed to allow them to see that. Okay, because that's usually when the mistreatment starts after that, because womb envy is also a real thing in regards to men. So essentially, this goes back to why, women, I always tell women, you are special to you. You're special to God. But when it comes to men, you're not special. What does that mean? Never put in your man, oh, he would never. You're not special to men. And many women don't like to hear that because a lot of women get with men and they think, oh, wow, he's never going to do this. He's never going to do that. He's never going to hurt me. Okay, babe. If that's what you think, that's great. But you're talking like you're special to him. And men live in a different reality from women. Men were prone to, men are not like women. So what I mean by that is men are not female-centered. You always see videos on how to decenter men. How often do you see videos on how to decenter women? Men don't need help on how to decenter women because they innately don't center women. That's not their style. I always tell women, you can go into another restaurant and try to control that woman. You can try to bully the woman. Women are only bullies towards each other. Women can't bully men because they know when you're next to a man, you're on his program, not yours. Women only bully other women. Women cannot bully men because men are not going to give them the route to start controlling things. Men are going to force women into servitude. So that's why we have a patriarchal society. Women bully. That's why when women try to bully me, I laugh at them because you're trying to bully your gender because that's the only way you feel powerful. When it comes to men, you're shaking at the knees or you're on your knees every time he comes home. So you can't bully me. That's impossible. That's impossible. You can't. So what I'm saying is, what women can gather from this is don't ever blame yourself when a man is acting up. Don't blame yourself. Don't start, internalizing what he does. Listen, always remind yourself that you're not the first. You're probably not going to be the last. You know, a lot of men, they just don't have the sexual discipline to hold on to a relationship or a marriage. They are not sexually disciplined. And that works against men. If men were taught sexual discipline, they would actually get a lot farther in life. But men weren't taught to be disciplined in the area of sexual relations. So as a result of that, they slip. So I hope, I'm hoping that she's not, internalizing this, because it has nothing to do with her and everything to do with him. And same thing with a man. When a man gets cheated on, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with her. So you have to remind yourself, when somebody's a cheater, like, it's an ego fight that they're having inside of their body. It has nothing to do with you. Do not internalize it. And ladies, especially if you have a spiritual gift, most men are not even supposed to be around you. I always talk about that. When women are spiritually gifted, most men are not supposed to be around you, and most women are not either, because of what is they're going to drain your power. And by power, I mean spiritual power, okay? And dominion and anointing. They're going to take your oil. You have to, it's almost like women and I'll use Liz as an example. Women like that are supposed to be like watched from afar. They're not really supposed to be accessed by people, because of, they want to humiliate you. They want to humiliate you on a mass scale.